you feeling, buddy?
You know what? It's a shame. It's a shame that first period went down the way it did. Really, in the end, Canucks kind of deserved to win this one by the end of it. They did fight hard. They hit like 4 or 5 posts. Joshua's goal in the first, I'm pretty sure, was in and wasn't given a decent enough review by the league. And he hit a post before that too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this was a frustrating one. I'm not mad. I'm just like, it was a good effort by the Pettersson, Besser, and DeBrusk line in the third period. They really were trying their damnedest, and Petey on the power play there, getting the second goal. Really started with him winning that face-off, and then again late in the period there, he won 2 big face-offs to keep the puck in the offensive zone and give them an opportunity to tie it up, only to have Hronek throw it away twice to no man's land. Like, just have some poise with the puck. He had time. Like, you got 6 on 5. Like, take a second to make a proper play. You can't just throw it to nobody. And he did it twice. And it ends up, like, how nice would it have been if Pettersson tipped that goal out of the way? He tried his darndest to get a stick on that and got a piece of it. But yeah, just we miss Hughes in those situations is where it shines the most that we miss Hughes, because those passes wouldn't have happened, and they would have been either tape on tape or he would have skated it himself and kept possession. You don't just throw it away when you're fighting in the last minute to try and tie it up.
Yeah, that last minute was just chaos. It was like ping pong out there. The puck was all over the place. You had no idea where it was going to go, and neither did the Canucks, clearly, because nobody ended up receiving the pass. Garland looked confused. Even like Besser getting hit in front. Like,
yeah, the shot is just not a good shot at all. Like, you got to get that through to the net. You can't be just throwing a nothing burger wrister up the middle like that. And gets really frustrating, especially when the team has worked as hard to get to that point. Honestly, they would have been better off having like Mancini or DPD out there. Just they have a better poise with the puck. I mean, you saw DPD save that one off his feet and was a sure goal for Montreal, but was able to find the puck and kick it to the corner when Lankinen was down and out. But then, there's going to be people that'll give Hronek a pass because he played 27 minutes tonight, got a goal and an assist. And yes, he did have a decent game, but when it's clutch moments that he crumbles, that's what frustrates me with Hronek's game. It's the clutch moments where he doesn't come through and he panics and he throws the puck away to nobody. He doesn't have poise in those moments where Quinn Hughes does, or maybe we'll see how Wielander fits into this lineup when he comes from college, but he's incredible. He has incredible patience with the hockey puck.
what did you think about the change to the defensive pairs? Because I wasn't like the Tyler Myers, Marcus Pettersson felt like it was pretty rough tonight, and then even like Petey and Hronek was not really great. So I ended up switching. I think it ended up being Myers with Petey, and then Hronek with Marcus Pettersson, and then they kept Forbert and Mancini together. Did you like that kind of switch between the top 2 pairs?
I did, yeah. No, Myers and Marcus were having a tough time out there for the first half of this game, so I did like that switch up on the blue line. And Mancini had really, really quality game for the low amount of minutes he played, but when he's out on the ice, he really can move the puck well. He drives it into the offensive zone. I think I saw early on. I saw a stat where it was in the second period where his shots were 5-1 for Canucks on goal versus shots against. So those are good stats you like to see when you have that when you have your third D pairing out there.
I mean, with Mancini in the lineup too, and I know we had a couple of Rangers fans in here giving us a hard time tonight about, JT Miller lives rent free in your head. But at the end of the day, right now, like if you look at the roster as it's composed, essentially Mancini, and Pettersson are the result of that, and Hedel are a result of that. So we got 3 players for the price of 1 when it comes down to it at the end of the day. I know there were some transactions in between, but right at this point, it still seems like the Canucks probably came out on top for that trade.
And O'Connor.
Yeah, and O'Connor.
Yeah. Well, and how was Miller's effort in overtime the other night?
Yeah.
How do Rangers fans feel about that back check?
Well, and that's
Had
the thing with Miller, right?
In that highlight online. Woo wee.
Well, the thing is, you always get, it's the same thing, right? Like, I know, like, some people are like blinders on with Petey, and some people are blinders on with Miller. And the people who have blinders on with Miller don't want to admit the fact that sometimes he just doesn't give a shit and then just does stuff like he did in overtime, right? And we saw that all the time.
Yeah.
If he's into the game, he can be one of the best players in the entire NHL. And when he's not, he's a defensive liability, like, to, you know, a degree of like Louis Eriksson scoring on his own net sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, I try to look at the whole player. I don't hyper focus on point production or why they're slumping. There's always more to their game that you can focus on to try and find positives, and that's what's been able to allow me to defend Mr. EP40 all season.
Yeah.
Except for like a couple moments where he really got me frustrated. But for the most part, I've been in his corner, waving the EP40 flag. So he had a really strong game again tonight. It was nice, a good bounce back game. But then again, he was given more offensive players to play with. Like, he had Besser and DeBrusk out there, and as soon as he got Besser and DeBrusk on his line, he looked to have some jump and some excitement in his game. And so that line, hopefully, is trotted out there tomorrow night against Calgary to get us on the board and drive some offense. And then you can have your second line with Hedel, Lecker-Mackey, and whoever, Höglander or even O'Connor on that left side. And then you got your Blueger, Garland, Joshua line. We're creeping closer and closer to that lineup I wanted, baby.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
I'm just looking at the minutes for the players tonight. For defense, the 2 low minute guys were DPD and Mancini. And DPD was actually the lowest of the bunch at 14:25. Mancini ended up with about 15:31. If you're looking at the forward lines, Jonathan Lecker-Mackey didn't hit 10 minutes in the game. Drew O'Connor was 10 minutes and 26 seconds. And then Joshua and Blueger were both 12 minutes each, essentially 13 minutes almost. So definitely, despite the fact that they're on a back-to-back, it looked like Tocchet essentially was benching people in that third period, which I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that earn your ice time, I guess.
Kind of contradicting himself, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's because that Blueger, Garland, and Joshua line was still playing really well. But I was kind of perusing the web there in the intermissions and stuff, and I saw a report from this morning that O'Connor and DPD may have been playing with a bit of flu-like symptoms. So that might explain why they were 2 of the lower. Well, they were low forward and low D-man in minutes.
Yeah.
Apparently they were a little under the weather, good enough to play, but not quite maybe at 100%. So definitely might explain that. And we'll see if they have to call in any reinforcements for tomorrow, or if they maybe just shuffle in Oman or something. Maybe even Hughes is ready to go tomorrow night. Who knows? Because Tocchet was kind of cryptic about it. He said he's not in tonight, and going forward is TBD. So
yeah, it's either week to week, day to day, or month to month. We're not 100% sure.
Hour to hour sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, even if you look at the plus minus for tonight, Marcus Pettersson, Tyler Myers, a -2 and a -3. All the other defensemen were even, right? So that kind of tells you the story of that defensive pair tonight. For DPD, Elias Pettersson, despite being the low minute man, I felt there was a bunch of moments in that game where he really stood out for good reasons. Whereas I think maybe a couple games before, there was a few times where like, oh, I don't know if that's the right choice for him to do. But tonight, despite his low minutes, it does seem like he had a pretty big impact on that game in the third period.
Yeah, definitely. And as I mentioned earlier, he saved a for sure goal by kicking it to the corner and being in the right place at the right time. And he also is there. He doesn't back down. Shows a little grit in those scrums and stuff. So he's a good guy to have out there, big boy, and won't back down from anybody. So nice to have him in those situations for sure.
Moving from Elias Pettersson to Elias Pettersson. Is he back? Can we officially declare that Elias Pettersson's back?
If they keep that line together, and he looks excited to be with DeBrusk and Besser together, and that's like they're the big three. They're supposed to be the big three. So let them run and pump them, give them a little confidence, let them be the big three, and we'll see where they go. Because I mean, all signs point to him wanting to shoot. I mean, he's got a one-timer power play goal, and then that wrister there was pretty vintage Petey. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night. If he can bring it tomorrow night, yeah, maybe he is.
One more game, and Dustin will declare Petey's back.
He needs to have a multi-goal game. When he gets like a multi-point, like 2-3 goal game, he's back.
All right, Dustin, who are you giving the 3 stars to?
Oh, let's see here. Yuri Slavkovsky, because he had a goal and 2 assists. Phil Hronek, a goal and an assist. And Cole Caulfield for a goal and assist.
Close. Very close. They just switched out Suzuki for Caulfield.
I mean, you could go Nick Suzuki because he also had a goal and
both
assist.
Had a goal.
It's Cole Caulfield or Nick Suzuki is the toss-up for the 3rd star.
So it's funny too because I know there was obviously 2 broadcasts for this game because there's the English broadcast for the Canucks and the French broadcast. So I wonder if this is probably the John Shorthouse picks here, but it'd be interesting to see if you could check out the French one too because they might have given Montreal the sweep there and just moved Hronek out and put Caulfield in there too.
Possibly. Oh yeah, we got Slavkovsky first, Hronek second, and Suzuki third.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is on there. All right, the Vancouver Canucks are depressing us, so let's go have a look at the baby Canucks down in Abbotsford because they have now finished up their game against the Bakerfield Condors. How did it go, Dustin? Tell us.
Just taking those baby Oilers to town. Welcome them to Abbotsford. A huge 6-2 victory, bouncing back from a loss and an overtime win against the Barracuda, who they're chasing in the playoff standings. So this is a big 2 points, obviously, for the Canucks to get. Goals tonight by Kirill Kudryavtsev, getting his 4th of the season. Arshdeep Bains getting his 8th of the season from Max Sasson and Jet Wu. And then Linus Karlsson getting his 19th of the season on the power play in the 2nd period. And with that goal, becoming the Abbotsford Canucks all-time goal leader, surpassing Sheldon Dries. He now has 66 career goals with the Abby Canucks, does Linus Karlsson. So a big milestone moment for him tonight there down in Abbotsford. And then Danila Klimovich getting his 20th of the season in the 2nd period. And then we had, in the 3rd, we had Tristan Nielsen getting his 10th. And then with about 13 minutes left in the game, we had Jujar Kara getting his first game in an Abbey Canucks uniform, recently traded to the Abbey Canucks in an AHL deal.
Is he
post deadline AHL deal?
Is he the kid from? Is he from Surrey?
He is. So he's here. He most recently, I believe, was in the Edmonton Oilers organization. Had some injury issues. Was down in the AHL trying to get his game back, and came across in a trade and is now playing down there with Arshdeep Bains.
It's got 2 Surrey boys.
So
both
the Surrey boys finding the score sheet today.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, and Jujar, he's got a pretty big body to him, right? Like he's got a frame.
He is a big, tall boy. Yeah.
So good to see. Yeah, it's always nice to have the local town after some of the disasters that we had in Jake Virtanen, So to have guys like that.
Yeah, he's 6'5", 214, so he's a big boy.
There you go. You'll love to see it. Hopefully those Arshdeep Bains and Jujar Kara can hook up for a couple more goals for the rest of the season here.
Yep.
Does that mean that Abbotsford now sits just 2 points behind the San Jose Barracuda, or have there been more games in between the last time they played them?
They are just 2 points back of the San Jose Barracuda right now. Both have played 56 games, so hopefully tomorrow night Canucks can get another win and pull even with those Barracuda. With the win tonight, though, they extend their point lead over the Tucson Roadrunners. The points now a 4-point lead over the 7th place Roadrunners with the same number of games played as well. So tomorrow night would be a huge 2 points to push them even further into that playoff race.
17. So they got 17 games left to go in the AHL schedule. It was coming down to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Bakersfield again tomorrow for the Abbey Canucks, 7 o'clock in Abbotsford. So if you feel like going to see some good hockey, you can head out there. And then again, another, like we said, 4 games for the Abbey Canucks, 4 games for the Vancouver Canucks. They got another series back-to-back in Abbotsford against the Calgary Wranglers this weekend. So lots of big games coming up for the Baby Canucks down the number 1 in Abbotsford.
Yes, sir.
Vancouver Canucks, no rest for the weary. Another all-Canadian matchup tomorrow against the Calgary Flames, who were not in action today. But did Montreal versus Calgary? Who won that game? I can't even remember. I feel like it was a Montreal win, wasn't it? Or did I think Calgary lost in overtime or something like that, right?
Yes. Yeah. Calgary sitting 1 point ahead of us in the standings. But they have also played 1 fewer games, so a very important 4-point game tomorrow night.
Canucks still sitting at 69 points, I think.
Giggity.
For a Calgary Flames team we haven't seen in a little while. What do you thinking the game looks like tomorrow? Similar to this game, or do you think it's more similar to like the Dallas game from the other night?
Oof. I haven't been paying much attention to the Flames, other than just watching the points standings. I would expect it to be similar to tonight, but with a little more emotion, a little more edge. Obviously, like we said, you don't mind giving up the 2 points to Montreal because they're not in your division. As much as you'd like to get the 2 points for the win, you can't win every game down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to lose a game in this back-to-back, that's the one to lose. So tomorrow night, really important game. Hopefully, the Canucks really did play well in that first period. They just got snake bitten by a couple of bad luck moments. So if they can play that way and not make the mistakes that they made tonight, and not end up down 2-0 after the first period, maybe up 2-0, 3-0. Could you imagine if the Canucks were up 3-0 after the first period? Oh, man. I think I might pass out.
3 goals in a game, like, man, that's all. Like 3 goals, 4 goals. Can they score 4 goals? Oh my gosh.
I think I might buy a lottery ticket if they score 4 goals in a game.
The Canucks lost to Calgary in the season opener in dramatic fashion. What were they up, like 4-1 or something like that, or 5-1? They lost, and then they beat Calgary 3-1, and then Calgary beat the Canucks 3-1. So what it comes down to, tomorrow's big because of the 4-point game, obviously. But then if it comes down to tiebreakers as well, if the Canucks can win in regulation tomorrow, that means they win the season series as a result of having that overtime loss. Whereas Calgary's loss was a straight up loss, right? So that would be best case scenario for the Canucks, but
Yep.
Canucks.
Something we have going for us is Calgary has the 26th worst power play in the NHL. So maybe with that power play of ours looking like it's moving the puck a little better, winning some faceoffs, maybe we can capitalize on a couple of power plays tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Canucks special teams have definitely been turning things up a little bit, moving up slowly in the standings. Like the power play now sits 16th, right in the middle of the league, but their penalty kill has gotten all the way up to 5th best in the league, which is really showing how good Suter, Bluger, and Forbort have been for this team on the penalty kill.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything you want to say to chat before I let you go for the night, brother?
tough loss tonight, guys, but you know what? We'll be back here again for you tomorrow.
Always. We're in it for the pain together.
Absolutely.
Well, brother, enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow during the first intermission.
Sounds good. Take care.
Nothing is perfect.